Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. It's Rob. Hope you're all having a fantastic day. Let's go ahead and make sure you all can hear me. If you would please type in the number 1 in the chat box, the questions box. Let me know that you can. I would greatly appreciate it. 1 for yes, 2 for no. And if you type in a 2, I'm going to slap you. All right? Because how would you know I said type in 2 if you don't hear me? All right. I appreciate the help there, folks. Thank you very much. Nothing worse than talking to myself for the next hour or so and having nobody hear what's going on. Oh, there we go. The one just lit up. All right. Welcome. A lot of names I recognize in here. Welcome, 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 everybody. I'm glad to see y'all back. And for those of you that are brand new here, this is our Options Explained show. Fantastic. I want to start off by looking at the market today. Let's go over and look at the S&P 500. Very first thing, I had SPY up there. Same picture. So this 5-minute chart, let me go get a daily chart. Actually, let me go get it on this program here. I like the graphics engine so much better here than I do on my broker on TradeStation. So if we look, and I just want to grab a drawing tool, so let me start up a different program. I forget that we don't have drawing tools inside of here. So bear with me a second. Oh, I see what page that's going to open up on. All right, good. So, okay, there we go. So we look, we've got a great V bottom down in here. Good, strong continuation through, pushed up to the 0 line here, which is the top of the fib. We had a nice pullback to the 236, which is our hesitation level. And then we've played between 41.81, which is right here. 41.91 is the fib level, and then 4,200. So basically 10 points apart-ish on each one of those. We lived there for 2 weeks. New all-time highs, closing highs, press back down, and we've been more volatile as of late. Right, but that 41.81, that is a major fib level. If you're not familiar with this level, I would encourage you to drop this on your chart for your fib, S&P 500. Drop this level, 4181, and you will find consistently we are hitting this over and over and over and over again. And it is not a one-off. Look at how long we lived here, back here, and now we're back here again. And on a Friday, and now what's happening? 41.81 is on the upside, 41.51 on the downside. And at the 41.51, I've got a confluence of the 8, the 5, and the 21 exponential moving average right on that Fibonacci level in there, that Fibonacci level that I've got drawn there, 41.51. So we're pinned between those two right now. It's been a great intraday move. I mean, there were some great opportunities today. We're still up $5. We were up much higher than that. Open the all-time high of the day as of late. You know, as of so far today, we still have just shy of 2 hours left, right, for the market to close. So that 41.81, critical. We break it down and look at the intraday. And let me go look at the 5 minutes. All right. So we had this nice gap up in here. Good, strong push forward. We had this nice break. We couldn't get down below the moving averages on a close here. We pushed up. We closed down below finally. We never got a real good test because we never had a crossover. The 8 is the 8. The pink, the 8 is the 8. Of course it is, Rob. The pink is the 8. The yellow is the 21. We never got a crossover until here. Once we had the crossover took place in the moving average, it crossed over it with a vengeance. That hard bearish candle. Now that brought us down close to where we opened up this morning. We opened here. Right there, you can see where that brought us down to. I like that it pushed back up, and this gave us a wonderful bearish opportunity in the market today. Right? We moved about $1 and change on that. So what is SP 500? I thought I had SPY in there, but same thing. If we just change it over to SPY, exact same picture, right? So we were at 416.5, we'll call it, and we moved down to about 415. So $1.50 move. All I'm trying to get is 30 or 40 cents out of this move. That's it. Easily done on an option. I'll share those with you in a bit. Easily done on an option with SPY. And then what happened? After that big crush, we just kind of limped along, right? And we pushed back up. We closed just above the 8, couldn't get to the 21. We failed, and we failed nicely. Once we broke back below that 8 again, below that 415 half level or so was another opportunity. So 415 half, we got down to a low of 414 half. We didn't need it that much because on this candle, I was taken back out again. I'm just trying to pick up 30 or 40 cents. If you do 10 contracts, it costs you $200 a contract, $2,000 to pick up $300 or $400. If you're doing 10 contracts, if you're doing one contract, you're spending $200 to pick up 30 or 40 cents, which is $30 or $40. And these are 5-minute candles, so in less than 10 minutes. Right? When you look at rate of return of that trade, if you took $200 to make 40, it'll just make very easy math for me. $200 to make 40 cents, that is a 20% rate of return in 10 minutes. Right? How many of you can get behind a 20% rate of return in 10 minutes? You know, 1 for yes or 2 for no. If you think 20% in 10 minutes is a good number, let me know. Share some love. Tell me that you think it's good. Drop it in the chat box there. And just by putting a 1 in. All right. Sure is. Absolutely. Right? There you go, Joel. Good. Most of you aren't sure if 20% in 10 minutes is good. Okay. Well, I understand. Hey, listen, some of you want a lot more than that, right? We could trade other companies as well. But SPY, I will tell you, as an options trader, every one of you need to look at primarily SPY. Now the Qs, because they've added the 3 times a week expirations as well. But primarily SPY for me is my go-to every single day as a trading opportunity. It is rare that sometime throughout the day I cannot find an opportunity to take a trade setup. We could have had right in here. I'm waiting for us to come in today to get started. I was in the waiting room here, and I'm watching this formation, the moving average cross. I'm just waiting to see, can I get a little bit of a push above this cluster here? And there was the candle right there that did it, right? Now we ran and got above the previous highs. That's probably our retest and potential bounce point from there. But every day you have opportunities. And usually with the moving average opportunities, you get about 2 a day, 2 good ones, 2 quality ones every day that you can find opportunities to take trades on, right? So if you could do that twice a day and make only 30 cents and make $600 for the day. If you do that every day, let's say you can't do it every day. Let's say you only did it 3 days a week. That's $1,800 for a week, which is not horrible, right? I can think of some worse things that can happen to you. Let's see if we get a calculator open up here somewhere. Oh, there it is. Okay. So if you have $1,800 times 50 weeks, I'm going to give you 2 weeks off vacation. You deserve it, right? That's about 90 grand a year. For most of you, quit your dang jobs. Period. Then you're done. I mean, you're done at that point. And that's on a rinky-dink little position that you need $2,000 in order to trade 10 contracts. That's the kind of numbers that potentially could produce. Oh, you can't speak today. But losing it can happen. Absolutely, Webcoin. Without a doubt, it can happen, and it will. But you will get 2 quality ones every day on top of the 1 or 2 that might go bad in a week or two, in a week or so, right? But if you follow here, let me get the drawing tool again. If you follow this, do not. If you're trying not to, or if you choose to not take breakouts of the longer term moving average before the crossover, which means back here, not taking those breakouts below. Wait for a break where we have a moving average cross, which we had here. And I saw the question, someone asked, what were the moving averages? Imran, they are the 8, which is the pink line, and the 21, which is the yellow line, and they are exponential. They're Fibonacci numbers. They are back tested. 4.5 million days of back testing to come up with these levels. I tested every weird combination of moving average crosses you could think of. And what I found for my style of trading was 8 and 21 worked the best. 4.5 million days. So we get the breakout. Sorry, guys, I got this little allergy stuff bothering my nose here today. we get this breakout, and then what happens? We climb back up. Nice. Don't take the breakout candle. The breakout candle is a mistake. I can never time these right. And that's where most traders will fail, is trying to take the breakout. But what if it never comes back? Then you never take a trade out today. So what? So what? I'm okay with that. What happens? We pull back up. We close near the 8 moving average. We stretch up a little higher, just a little bit, and we fail. And that candle right there is the entry. All I'm trying to pick up is 30 cents on the options price. That is it. Put your order in for 30 cents. My stop goes just on the other side of the moving averages. So my risk is very small in this trade. 10, 15, 20 cents if I'm wrong. That's it. Very small. Same thing happened here. We closed up above. Nice. We opened up and we failed below. Beautiful. My stop is just up in here somewhere. Boom, boom, boom. 30 cents. That's all I'm looking for. I normally shoot for 40. As a brand new trader, don't do that. Go for 30. Actually, when my coach started me out on this, it was 20 cents. This is all he wanted me to take. And way back when, before I had a coach, when it was just me being taught by an instructor in a room, they taught us to take 10 cents on our day trades. But this is back in 1997, guys, when day trading was really what day trading was, not what it is today, right? Way back then, when you had scalpers, right, and what were called the SOEs, S-O-E-S, SOEs bandit, small order execution system. Wow, I can't believe I remember that. That's way back in 1997, where people were scalping not based on give me a dime. It was give me, there were no dimes. It was fractions, an eighth. 12.5 cents is what you were shooting for, right? Let's see. I like to use SPXU and SSSO to trade SPY. Seems like it's easier than to trade SPY. Seems like it's easier than using options. Options are fairly easy, Webcoin. I don't do a lot of trades outside of covered positions, covered calls, where I actually buy the equity. Everything for me is buying the options themselves. Vectro said, I mean, if you stick to a script, 2 good quality trades, I'll doubt you'll lose. Yeah, and that's just it, right? So are there going to be trades that go against you? Guys, I never want to come across that this is risk-free. Can't make a mistake. You're guaranteed to win. You're going to make $90,000 a year. That's not what I'm saying here. If I took 2 of you and sat you right next to each other and said, go, and told you, this is the setup, watch for it, watch for it, watch for it, I guarantee you both of you will have different results. There's no way you both have the same exact results. Your risk profile, your emotions, the size of your account, all of that will play into it, right? Your fear or anxiousness in the market, your ability to take more risk, maybe more risk than you should take. Some of y'all know who you are, right? All of that will play into it. None of this meant to be, man, this is a piece of cake. You got this, home run. But this is a simple position that you can look to trade every single day. Here, if I go now for next week, let me clear this off. Let me get rid of the drawing tools. Let's go look at an option chain. It's because it's on SPX. Let's go SPY. Nope. Didn't like it. Let's try it again. All right. Now let's go back into SPY. TradeStation is having a problem with their option station today. I've had this multiple times. There it is. Has generated an unhandled exception. Well, handle it. I don't know what to tell you. Just handle it. Let me shut it down and let's bring it back up again. I've had to do this all day today. Funded account, an unfunded account, doesn't make a difference. All right, let's see if there's any questions that popped up in there I need to cover. So CR said, what is the best way to predict how much a call option will decay in its last week if trying to swing it? Got it. So we can handle that if TradeStation will ever play nice with me again. There we go. So I'll answer that one for you in a second, CR. Let's go through on SPY here. Oy, oy, oy. Okay, then. It definitely does not like it. Let me try one more time. We'll open it up again, see if we can get it to fix. Here, let me try and see if we've got any open still on TradeStation's options. Nope. All right, nothing else open on it. So let's see. We'll give it one more shot and see what happens. So what we would use, CR, is for determining how it decays is called theta, T-H-E-T-A, which theta is time value deterioration. All right, so we got SPY now. And I'll show it to you actually on the chart. It's one of the indicators I use on my screen. All right, right here. So if we're looking today, right now, I'm looking to buy an option that has a 65 to 85 delta. So I could get away with a 72 delta. I'd be spending about $1.21 to get in this trade. $120 for one contract. Now, for me, on expiration day, which is Monday, Wednesday, and Friday for the SPY, I prefer to go into that mid-80s. I pay a little bit more for it, but I don't care. When you look at the value of that position, I'm buying an option for $2. Every dollar the stock moves, the option moves 86 cents. I have almost nothing, pennies between the bid-ask spread. I have tremendous gain in my options price for a small move in the stock price. And when we look on days like today, that is just today, before today opened up, we had 11,000 open interest. Today, we had 35,000 contracts trade. On the one with the 68 delta, 97,000 contracts trade today, and there were only 29 open before the day started. We tripled what was open in volume. Open interest is how many were open before today. Volume is how many traded today. So we look at SPY. Now, that's this week. If I go out to next week, which here's Monday's expiration, and I find that 68 delta, right? And CR, this will go right to your question, as a matter of fact. I find that 68 delta, or 66, I'm looking for 65 to 85. I can buy the option. We'll call it 270 just to make it round numbers right there. The 414 call is what I'd look to buy. All right? Well, what happens is this. So CR, there's a theta on this position of 25 cents. What that tells me, and that's, let me move my mouse just a little bit, right there. What that tells me, I don't know if I could draw on it. Let's try. Sometimes TradeStation, when you write on top of it, it overwrites if a price changes. But we'll see. That's the row that we're looking at, the 414 calls, right? So what will happen, CR, is this. If I trade this, if I buy it right now, let's say it's the end of the day, not even now, I wait until 3:59 p.m. Eastern time. I hit enter. I buy this call option. What happens? Well, now you have from Friday at 4 o'clock to Saturday at 4 o'clock. One full day of time went away. You go from Saturday at 4 o'clock to Sunday at 4 o'clock. That's 2 full days of time went away. From Sunday at 4 o'clock to Monday at 9:30 a.m., another 3/4 of a day went away. Every day that goes by, this option will lose about 25 cents in value. So you're starting off Monday with what could be, assuming the SPY opened exactly flat and there were no major volatility changes, that option would open up about 60, 65 cents lower than it is right now. That's what you have to look at. So CR, if you're looking at a deterioration in the options pricing, it's the time value side that goes away, not the intrinsic, not the cash value. Not the difference between 415.79, the price that I show at the top here. Not that difference between the 414. It's the difference, the strike. It's the difference of everything but that. So that's a $1.79 difference, right, between those two numbers. Let me change this up to white. And let's go to a pen. Difference of those two numbers is $1.79. And if we look, we're going to buy this at 273, right? So if you take If you take 273 plus of the option and subtract $1.79, oh, you hit something wrong. 2.73 minus 1.79. 94 cents of this option is time value. Well, guess what? Come Monday's open, you're going to lose about 65 cents of that 94 cents here. That's how time value gets affected by the movement, whether it is weekly options, monthly options. You know, you're going out a year. Theta tells us how much time deteriorates each day, not trading day, each day. And that number will get less the closer we get to expiration. So it may not be exactly 65 cents, but there are other factors that play into it. Did volatility increase and so forth? Right? We'll make adjustments in there as well. CR, I hope that helps. If it doesn't, let me know. All right. Sasha said, how do you like TradeStation overall? If I was starting over, Sasha, I would use TOS instead of TradeStation. Personally, I like let me back up. I like features about both, and I have both. I've traded on both TOS and on TradeStation. I am very comfortable with TradeStation. I can do it with my eyes closed, right? I don't need a whole lot of work to do it. I started with TOS about 4 years ago and said, yep, we're going to switch over at some point. I never have. But I do like the platform. But there are some analysis tools on TOS that you can't get here. So I do like some of that better. So would I ever give one up versus the other? Probably not. Sure. Afsar is asking what the website is. So you can go to WealthbuildersHQ.com is our primary site, which is right here. This is just the members area, WealthbuildersHQ.com. Right? But guys, if you want to follow along with what I do and what I trade, since you asked for it, you need to go to tradewithrob.com/go. Jen, can you drop that in for me? Admins, if you could drop that in, that would be great. I send out videos every week, 2 or 3 of them a week, of here's a trade for tomorrow. Here is the entry. Here is the target 1, target 2. Here's our stop. This is what we're looking for to get in. That, to me, we've got thousands of people that are subscribed to this. And for me, this is 3 months now. We're working with this. By all means, it's free. There's nothing else for you to do. You just wait. You'll get an email and or a text. You just tell us how you want us to communicate with you. And we'll let you know, hey, the latest video is posted. I'll be doing one today after the market is closed. Hopefully, it's my niece's confirmation tonight. So I'm just trying to get a confirmation on the time of where we're supposed to be tonight. And all is good. So Afsar said, TOS is better for options and TradeStation freezes a lot. Well, there you go. So TradeStation, I'm using 9.5 on this computer, which it looks like it's run its course to 9.5. I'm going to be switching within the next couple of weeks over to 10. There's a couple of mechanical differences I've got to do to use 10 because of some indicators I have had built that have to be adjusted and changed a little bit. Otherwise, it's all good. Sure. Mathine, the moving averages were the 8 and 21 are my primary moving averages that I use. And they are exponential, by the way. So, Imran, I back tested the 8 and 21 over the course of 4.5 million trading days, not just on SPY. It was on all the major companies in the S&P 500. This is who I did it on. Just checking on the notes here, the questions, make sure I didn't miss anything. Guys, if I missed anything in your notes, in your questions, boy, couldn't get that word out. Just drop it in and I'll gladly go ahead and grab them again, right? Yeah, so Webcoin said your Pepsi trade was perfect and I did not get in. Guys, here, Webcoin, I appreciate you bringing it up. Poof. Come on now. All right. So we got this retest of the 144.96. We hit our first target of 146.5. So we're out of the first half of our trade. We moved our stop up to break even or a little bit higher. I'm okay with either one, but at least break even. And we're still in the second half of the trade. If you had only had one contract or you're a little more concerned, exit the trade after one contract and call it a day. You could have done this if you bought the equity. You could have done this with diagonal spreads, with covered call. You could do this with any type of strategy you like. For me, it's buying calls and buying puts, which is the focus of today's show, is utilizing the most basic rudimentary options vehicle, which you can become an absolute freaking trained killer with that. Absolute trained killer with that. In all of the let me rephrase that. In most of the trainings that I do, directional trades of calls and puts is what we focus on. We have specialty things where we look at diagonals and covered calls and naked puts. We have specialty things where we're doing iron condors and or credit spreads, right? Or debit spreads. It all depends. The head trader that works for my company, her name is Amelia. She's an absolute trained killer in the market. Trained killer in the market. And one of her biggest things right now is debit spreads. She crushes it using debit spreads. Not my favorite vehicle. If I'm spreading something, I'm using a credit spread, but she's doing extremely well with debit. Doesn't mean because I don't use it, debit doesn't work. It just, listen, I use Sprint as a cell phone. That doesn't mean that Sprint is the only phone that's any good, nor does it mean that Sprint is any good, actually. Right? It's just who I use, right? It's who you use. It's the trade type and the trading vehicles that you like to focus on. So guys, what Webcoin was talking about with Pepsi, this trade came off of Trade with Rob just the other day. All right. So by all means, go register for it. It's free. Free is for me. Brad said, did you ever trade Friday afternoons? Brad, the closest I have traded to expiration has been 10 minutes before the market closed on expiration Friday. It was an Apple trade when Apple used to actually be a trading vehicle. It's not really any longer. When Apple had more movement. But before the last split we did, I traded up to 10 minutes prior to the close of the market. So yes, I do trade into the afternoon. I will be when we're done here today. I'll be looking at, last week we talked about some spreads. I talked about iron condors. I will be placing an iron condor trade this afternoon for my next one to add to my ladder setup that we do. But yes, I definitely do trade on Friday afternoons. You're welcome, Athene, for the moving averages. Yeah, get up the likes, guys. Appreciate it. Do your thing. Come on now. Okay, so Afsar said buying calls and puts, you need to know how to read the charts. Think about it. Isn't that the same thing if you're buying the stock? You've got to read the chart. Unless you're referring to an option chain, but you need, no matter what you're trading, it doesn't matter. If you're trading an option, you're trading a stock, you're trading futures, Forex, crypto, you need to know how to read the chart. You need to know where the uncle factor is. Where's enough when it goes against you, your stop is in place. You know, if you look, watch. Okay. Stretch out a little bit more on the screen. On this day with Pepsi is when I said, if we can get a retest tomorrow or a small move up of this blue line, I can't see the level right now, whatever it is, right? 144.96, I believe. If we can get a retest and a bounce, we'll take that trade. If we're wrong, the stop is going to be somewhere down in here. There was the retest. The stop was all the way down here. We got nowhere near that stop. We just bounced right from there. Boom. Crushed it right through the 146 half level. We gapped up, went a little bit higher, didn't run to our next target, and we backed off from there. Still in the trade, by the way. Right? The trade is not over. We're still in. All right? So, yes, Asar, you need to know how to read the chart. Do you trade options on futures and crypto? So I don't trade the options, FSR, on futures. I do have somebody who teaches for my company. His name is Brandon. He is he's a CMT. He's a chartered market technician. So basically, he has a PhD in technical analysis, and he does do some options on futures. Yes, but when I trade futures, I tend to trade more of the financials, the Dow, the RUT, the NASDAQ, the ES, right? That's more what I trade. So I love oil. I love trading oil. I'm a big fan of it. Gas, okay. Gold, yep. In the right market, I love trading gold. I could stick to those 6. A couple of the currencies in futures, like I like the Aussie in the futures, the Aussie versus the dollar, in futures instead of in the Forex. I don't get ripped off by the Forex brokers. So, but I trade primarily options on equities, ETFs, and indexes. That's normally where I tend to trade options. All right. So Matthew's asking us to take I'll take a look at that in a second for you, Matt. Let's see. So I'm not going to say it right, so I apologize. Boucher 70, I think. Good idea to roll covered calls if risk to assigned. Yes, I roll covered calls all the time. Part of what I would do this afternoon, about 3:30, 3:45 this afternoon, is I will adjust all my covered calls this afternoon. I'll be looking to sell next week. Why? Remember that theta that CR had asked about? And that theta said that's how much time value deteriorates? Well, if I have an option right now, let's say I am looking at Delta Airlines, DAL. And let's say I want to sell a covered call for next week, which means I'm looking to take premium in. Okay? If TradeStation decides it wants to participate, whew, thank goodness. All right. So if I go look for next week, I'm going to be selling probably the 46, 47, somewhere around there. And we're going to lose 5 or 6 cents a day. So just over the weekend, if I sell it today, the option is going to be worth 15 cents less come Monday. Right? 12, 15 cents less. I'll take it. Why wait till Monday? Write it now. That's the whole idea behind it, is just that. Right? When we sell covered calls, we want time value to deteriorate. So yes, I am a huge fan of rolling my positions out for my covered calls. Bovine said, is toss, think, or swim? Yes, exactly. It is. All right. So I got a couple candidates for us to look at. You guys have some ones you want me to take a look at. I'll look at Matthews first. He put one in. Don't put any others in. I want to share some ones with you guys for next week, and then I'll take some of them that you have. So let's go over here. That was ANVS. Whew, holy mackerel. Okay, this is who? Anovis Bio. Okay, biotech. So here's the thing. This was an earnings announcement that drove it the way that it is. If I take that day off of the chart, I don't have a whole lot of interest in here at all, right? I got nothing. Let's see. Bum. All right. We got that fib there. That's $27. That's 10 to 35, 10, 20, 30. That's $25. All right, so we're going to use the second one that we have in there, right? Nope, not what I want to do. We're going to use the most recent one that I drew furthest to the right. Now, here's what I did. We blew through every single major Fibonacci level that I've got in there, right? I've got one other one that I can add, or there are multiple that I can add, but one more that I would want to add on here now, which is the negative 1.618, right? So now, I don't know the news behind it. I don't know why the earnings were as good as it was, assuming it was their earnings that drove it, right? It got to be, unless they announced along with earnings. I don't know. But whatever it was, whatever drove behind this, for me, I am hard-pressed to chase these. Right? This is not where I tend to go after in my analysis. And the reason for it is, let me open up a screen here. Not sure where this is going to actually open. Now I know. On 11 trades through April 30th, on 11 trades on Adobe, we made $30,000. See, I told you Apple is not a trading company any longer. 3 trades in the same time period. On 9 trades on Amgen, we made $7,000. On 9 trades on Amazon, we made $44,000. On 5 trades on Booking, 100% winners, by the way, we made $57,000. The highest number we have as far as the number of trades is Adobe and Home Depot, right? Biggest dollar amount was the Booking, right? Google was 37 grand. Chipotle, I love Chipotle as a stock, as a restaurant, both. So I don't chase after those home runs. I go after consistency over and over and over and over again. 136 trades, 94 winners, 42 losers, right? And this is in our, it's called Power Option Plays. Where's closed? Here's the individual details of all the trades. These yellow and purple boxes are the weekly and weekly totals, right? What we were able to do for that week. Some really good weeks, some okay weeks, some not so good weeks, right? So I guess I'm not, reason for saying all that, listen, I am not showing you that to impress you. I'm showing you to impress upon you that if you're the style of trader that uses this as your type of vehicle that you trade, that's awesome. For me, I find consistency and what's the word I wanted to see? Sleep. That's a good word. Sleep. That I'm not afraid that this becomes another GameStop and comes crashing back down, from its 400 plus that it was and gets back down into crazy land. Come on. Be nice. Right? I mean, we had the big run up, the huge drop. As quick as it went up, as quick as it came down. We ran again, and then we've just died on the vine at 157, 177, between that range. Nothing in there. So not saying that it isn't a good potential candidate. It's just not one for me. I see. If you have Microsoft here, let me share with you Microsoft's option chain. If I were sitting on Microsoft, and it's not a recommendation, I'm just showing you how my system works. Now, if you don't want your Microsoft taken away, you're going to want to make sure that you don't go over a 40 delta, right? You might even be better off at about 35 delta. But you're going to rent it out at $1.69 per share if you rent it right now. If you rent it out right now, it's about $1.69, right? Let's call it 170 just to make it easy numbers, okay? If you have 100 shares, that's $170 per month you're going to rent it out for. If you have 1,000 shares, that's $1,700 per month they're going to pay you. $1,700, where is it? Times 12 is a $20,000 raise for the year. 20 grand. All right. If you own equities, you need to be looking at writing covered calls on them. My goal is 3 to 5% a month on my covered calls. That's what I want to take in. Somewhere between 3 and 5%. All right. Let me see what I got here. On what? Bovine, a huge discount on what? If you went to trade with Rob, I don't know what there is behind it. Yeah, I see it. 1,000 shares. There you go. I mean, you're looking at 20 grand a year. I taught at an event in Washington, D.C., a live event. I had about 120-ish people in that event. And I start sharing Microsoft, General Electric, when General Electric was somebody, AT&T when they were somebody, and a lot of big blue chip stocks. And a woman gets up, she's in her 90s with her cane, and she literally is putting the cane down and taking a step, moving the cane forward and taking a step. She walks out. So I stopped teaching. I looked at her. I didn't make fun of her, but I looked back at her, and the class looked, and it kind of giggled. She left. She comes back in. I walked halfway down the aisle, and I met her. I said, "Dear, is everything okay?" And she's got her cane, and she's kind of shaking on the cane, right? And she's in her 90s, and she says, "I just fired my dang broker." I said, "How come?" She said, "All those stocks you're talking about?" She said, "I got $2 million in that. Had it for 30, 40 years. I ain't never got a rental check from my broker." And if you're not renting them out, your broker is. That's the big kicker. If you're not renting it, the broker is. They're saying, thank you. Because what does the broker tell you to do? Buy and hold. Why do they want you to hold? So they have access to your money. And they can use it. Just like a bank. Oh, put it in a CD. We'll pay you 0.25%. So they can go lend it to a business at 22%. Whose money do you think they're lending? It's not theirs. It's yours. You have no risk. Your money's safe in the bank, all that stuff. That's not what I'm getting at. Right? But true story. I mean, true story. It's just freaking crazy. It's absolutely crazy. Right? All right, let's go check out a couple of companies here, guys. Speaking of covered calls, I think you guys should be looking at covered calls. I think you should be looking at renting out stocks. There's a lot of opportunity. Actually, the ticker symbol CC. If we can get closed back above, there we go. We get this close and stay there today. I'm looking at selling a covered call on CC, right? Let's see. Oracle, ORCL. Right? They got earnings coming up. Before enough away, though, I'm looking at a diagonal spread on Oracle where we use the equity instead of buying this. The option instead of buying the stock, we buy a long option. We go out and buy 120 plus days out in the future. So you got Oracle. TAP, which is Molson Coors, right? Yeah. I never remember if it's Molson Coors or Coors Molson. So I just say Molson. Love to move back above the 8. If we get to stay where we are, get a small move on Monday, I'm all over it. I'm going to sell front week. I'll sell next Monday. And I will be looking at, I'm actually going to be looking at this one this afternoon, right about 10 to 4. If we're still above and it still looks good, I'm going to grab it. And then you've got Yum Brands. Same scenario. Right? Nice little pullback. I need the bounce on Monday to wind up taking this trade. All right, we don't have a lot of crazy bullish stuff right now in the 20 stocks that I trade. Google is one of them, though. All right, we got room up to about that 23, 29 level. So super sweet. But from bearish side, oh yeah, there's plenty. Apple. That's one of them. Down to 119. Amazon. Wait for it. Ho! Great trade today. I know one of my students traded this one today. They crushed it. Amazon's down $38 already. They crushed it. On options that expire today. Alibaba. Wait for it. Boom. So this becomes the zero line breakout trade. This becomes the trade with Rob tonight if we stay where we are. If we close below 211.23, Alibaba is my trade with Rob candidate. And I'll share all the details of it tonight in the video. CMG, Chipotle Mexican Grill. I'm a big fan of Chipotle. Love it. But they have been crushed. We move back up to the moving average. If we can fail off of that 1345 level, which is the pink line, and roll over, You're going back to 1300 if that's the case. Not only that, we've got a previous fib back at 1291.54 that there's just a major confluence there. And the last time we drove down, that was the stopping point. We went flat for a day, we gapped and ran, just skyrocketed. If we get the bounce, I'm okay. But if I can pick up 20, 30 points on the way down, why would I not take it? All right, CMG. Tesla. So I have, let me bring in, I've got a confluence of the 8 moving average and the 600 point level, which we snap lines at our 100 point levels. I've got a confluence there. If we stay where we are, a little bit lower would be even better. Get a small move up on Monday and a fail, I'd be looking at that 549 level as my target for my first shot. So lots of opportunities here, guys, on the candidates I gave you. And of course, we'll be doing an on Condor this afternoon. Good. IC said, good story. I've held these stocks for more than a decade now, never done covered calls. IC, think of if you go to the individual companies and you look at what you can get for a weekly option. Look at it. And actually, wait a second. That option I gave before on Microsoft was a weekly, not a monthly. So there's a lot more than 90 grand and 1,000 shares. That was a weekly option. When I did it with this woman in DC, there were no weeklies available. They weren't out yet. There were only monthlies is all we had. So if you take all of those positions and you look at what the potential is and you see, you're going to find you can have, if they're major ones like I've mentioned, you're looking at a couple grand a month easily on each of them. Easily. If you can pick up 5% for a month on your portfolio and you got a $100,000 portfolio, that's 60 grand. Right? But I mean, if you're sitting on 1,000 shares of Microsoft, you're more than that now. All right. So let me see. Damn it, man. I need to get signed up. I see. Just do it. I mean, just friggin' do it. Just go for it. Yeah, I see. I mean, goodness gracious. I see. Give me another symbol that you have, another major one that's in your account. Who else besides Microsoft? Well, KHU, we'll look at that next. How about that? All right. Let me pull this up. Let's get rid of this. Let's put that down. Actually, that's what I wanted right there. All right. In the meantime, NKLA, KH is asking for. NKLA. Yeah, drop in your symbols, Robin. Look at, guys. I'll do everything I can to get as many of them in before we finish up here today. NKLA looks bearish to me. Without going any further, it's bearish. I am looking at 10.25 to 9.5. Somewhere between there is the downside target. I do not like the overall pattern on it. All right, so very bearish in our moving averages. RBLX. A little bit new of a company for me, right? I'm pretty hardcore. Who is this? Robotics Corp. Class A shares. I'm pretty hardcore that I want to get a little more time than this. I only have one moving average on there, the pink one, because it's not long enough for the other ones to even show up. And it just decided to give me today's data. Okay. Yeah, it's kind of, this is more of knowing about the company and the industry than about the technicals of the stock. Normally, I know nothing about the companies I trade, but when they're this new, I don't really have a lot of choice sometimes. FCX. All right, which is Freeport. All right, so we're looking at Freeport right here. We're pinned between the 8 and the 21 moving average. Give me a close above the 8 moving average. And we're looking at 44.25, 44.33 as resistance. As you can see, if we get above, we can easily get to the 44.33. We've been there over and over again. AYX. overall bearish looking pattern, where it goes to next is going to be interesting. All right. Actually, let me open this up. AYX. Let's do this. There we go. Come on, what's this doing here? Okay. $7. I'm going to add another line in here. We need another Fibonacci level in here. So you're looking at about $70 is your target. If we fail off of that 8 moving average, I love where it's sitting, fail off the 8, we're looking at 70 as our target on AYX. All right, I see. That's fine. IMAB. Who is this? Don't know what they do. IMAB, NASDAQ stock. Okay. So let's go back and look a little bit. I do not have a great place to draw a fib, but I do have a place that I can work one off of. But I'd give it an 85 as far as the quality of it. So I need a pullback, and I love it. I love that the 8 moving average is sitting right where my horizontal line is there. Give me the pullback to the 65.5 and a bounce, and that's the trade I'll take. I don't take these breakout trades. And I know some of you sitting there going, but Rob, look at today. It was freaking awesome. How could you not take that? Did you take it here? You can't call one and not the other. What made the difference between the 2 days? Right? It broke out, but it failed 3 days ago, 4 days ago. Why was today the breakout and the hold? For me, I don't take the breakout. I'm a retest trader. Breakout, retest, and bounce. But what if it just keeps running? So what? I didn't take that trade. I don't pout. I'm not mad. I don't say, oh, I missed out. There's trades every single day. You don't need to chase anything ever. Ever do you need to chase. Right? Let's see. Snow. Yep, snowflake. Also a newer company, but a little more history. If we can get the bounce off the 226 and the move up, we're looking at 256 as our resistance, as our target. So I like Snow at this point. We got the crossover. We broke out. Now it's a retest to the 226 level, and there's the potential entry. MGA. Magna International Automobiles. Okay. Not a whole lot happening right now with it. Right? If you look, a little bit of a wedge happening in there. Oh, wrong one. My breakout of that wedge, because it's not descending or ascending, it's just a wedge. My breakout has to take place Let's change the color back from white because you'll never see it. My breakout has to take place somewhere between these 2 days of one of these diagonal lines in here, right? If it doesn't break out inside of here, I'm not interested in the trade at all. If it breaks out, up or down, doesn't matter. We're looking at about a $4 move up or down if it breaks out of there. Roughly. A little bit more, a little bit less, right about $4 though. How do I know that? Because I've tested a couple 100,000 wedges to determine how the breakout works. Jeff said, thanks, Rob. Diving into material and learning. Got to time my entries better. Already put a Super Bowl spread on FCX, bought 2 $41 calls, sold 2 $40 calls, expiration in July. Yep, Webcoin said agree. A lot of failed breakouts. That's it, Webcoin. And I don't teach breakouts. I am not a breakout. I have one breakout trade that we do, one. And it's called the pressure cooker. And it has to fit all of the rules. It has to be a minimum of so many bars, a maximum of so many bars. It's the only one that we do that's a breakout trade. And it's only done on futures. We really don't even use it on options or equities. Is AMVS the worst stock symbol ever? I don't know. I mean, the worst ever, I can't say that, right? So, guys, here's the thing. This year to date, we're up 478 grand on our account, right? That's what one system that if you would have followed every trade that we call, and we call every one of them, if we followed every trade, this is where you'd be. Some of the same types of things that I do here is what I do in Trade with Rob. Guys, this is a free. I know for some of y'all, that's your favorite number in the whole wide world. Free. Jen, if you could just drop it in the chat box there, admins, if you could put it in, it is tradewithrob/go, tradewithrob.com/go. Right? And it'll take you to Benzinga. So, you came from Benzinga. Here's where you wind up finding us. I don't offer this to anybody that's not from Benzinga. That's it. That's all we do. My own students don't even know this exists. Right? So go ahead and check it out. All right? So Aaron, are you back there in the back end? I think you are muted.
Sorry about that.
Doing the old mute trick on you.
Let me. You'd think I know by now. We've been through this quarantine, work from home by now. Yeah, let me throw that link in there for you.
I appreciate it.
Love it. The man, the only Robert Roy.
Yeah,
hit the like, guys.
Woo! Give me some thumbs up, guys. Did you like it? Was it helpful?
I don't have the sound bar, but
there you go. That works.
Smash that like in the face for Rob. If you learned anything from this segment, we're here doing options each and every Friday at 2 p.m. Eastern.
Look at that love in the chat.
Yeah, I appreciate it. I do very much. Awesome. Guys, I'm going to jet. I know you got another show to get to. I'm going to jet for now. Hey, listen, folks, check out the site, and I'll see you all back here next week at 2 p.m.
All right. There you go. Till next time.